Independence Day, a day to celebrate, a day to give our thanks for Independence Day.
Welcome to the Fresh Toones Show. My name is Dave Paltz, and today is my 250th Independence Day celebration. Now, it might be one day before the actual 4th of July, but I figure it's close enough to get started. We've got a lot to be thankful for in this country. We've got some things we still need to work towards. Sometimes there's setbacks, but for 250 years, we've found some way to work through our problems, and hopefully we can do that again. This is a song of mine called Independence Day.
Freedom vibrates in the blooms. The flowers are calling you. 1 million beats of feathered bliss. Nectar's gift is one sweet kiss. In sovereign states of confidence, they'll build and give assurances. Determined seekers will whet their beaks. Their thirst for kindness will bring them peace. Independence Day, a day to celebrate, a day to give our thanks for Independence Day. A lone hiker may seem isolated. Their aloneness is purely dedication to trek the long and narrow way to find an Independence Day. Independence Day, a day to celebrate, a day to give our thanks for Independence Day. To step out and see the light from a dark forest that blocked your sight. Breathe freely and sigh in relief to know you finally been released. Independence Day, a day to celebrate, a day to give our thanks for Independence Day.
Well, that Independence Day did not come easy. It took 7 or 8 years before a peace treaty was signed. And then the battle for the Constitution and the Bill of Rights really got going. And then that took many years to figure out. I guess if we all invested a little time to study our history and understand just how lucky we are to have the freedoms that we have, we'd appreciate them more, and maybe we'd find out some better ways to work together to keep those freedoms. This is a song of mine called Freedom, Oh Freedom.
We're free to say our prayers, we're free to sing our songs, we're free to do almost anything on this road they're walking down. We're building our lives as we're knocking down the walls, free Freedom is singing for those who choose to sing along. Freedom's the wheel that keeps us rolling on. Freedom's the flag that we fought for oh so long. Freedom's what gives us choice, and it's only up to us whether we live responsibly or live a life that isn't us. Freedom, freedom, help me find a way to make the choices in the life I want to lead. Though I might stumble, oh, I might stumble twice, I'll keep singing with you until the silent night. Freedom's the wheel that keeps us rolling on. Freedom's the flag that we fought for oh so long. Freedom's what gives us choice, and it's only up to us whether we live responsibly or live a life that isn't us. Freedom, oh freedom, help me find a way to make the choices in the life I want to lead. Though I might stumble, oh I might stumble twice, I'll keep singing with you until the silent night.
Well, I was saying just before the last song, Freedom or Freedom, that if we were more familiar with some of the history of how the Constitution and the Bill of Rights came about and what a struggle that was and how questionable it was even to think that all these 13 individual states could come together and create a United States. Thinking along those lines, I thought, well, maybe I'll share one of these great courses lectures about John Locke and government by the people. It was certainly important to the founding fathers what John Locke and many others had to say. So I thought I'd share that lecture with you now on this 250th Independence Day celebration here on the Fresh Toones Show. John Locke and government by the people.
And in his two treatises on government, Locke went as thoroughly to the bedrock of politics as he had in the essay concerning human understanding. Government is, therefore, an invention of the people. It's not handed down from heaven on a silver platter. Kings are not born, booted and spurred by God and ready to ride all the rest of us. Nor is anybody born with an inherent status like duke or earl or nobility in the state of nature. In the state of nature, everyone is born equally poor and equally empty-handed. And we invent kings, we invent dukes, we invent earls and whatnot to serve as protectors of people's property. Third, if a government or a king or a duke or an earl are not doing the job they were invented to perform, the people who made them, precisely because they made them, have the authority to toss the scoundrels aside and find some other useful way of protecting their property. For instance, said Locke, the moment you catch them governing without settled standing laws, that's a sure sign a change is needed. Because no matter how much they may rage and plead some form of divine right for what they do, no one would ever have left the state of nature and put themselves under their rule were it not, said Locke, to preserve their lives, liberties, and fortunes, and by stated rules of right and property to secure their peace and quiet. Or, said Locke, when you see the supreme executor of the government going about to set up his own arbitrary will in the place of law, or when that executor employs the force, treasure, and offices of the society to corrupt the rest of the government by solicitations, threats, promises. At that moment, said Locke, such an executor cannot any longer be trusted.
Well, with all the work that went into winning our independence and then creating the United States, I think the least we can expect of ourselves and citizens of this country is to vote. And I certainly know in my younger years when I first started to vote how frustrating it was. And for a while there, I felt like voting was a waste of time. But I figure if we don't vote, we've got nobody to blame. It doesn't matter if we vote green or red or blue or pink. I think the most important thing is to support democracy by voting. If we get out and vote, we don't have to get out on the streets like we have some time to protest. This next song I actually wrote back in the days of the Occupy movement. And it's called Can You Hear the Bells of Freedom? Can you hear the people suffering? Can you hear the people's cry? Can you hear the words they're saying before it becomes a roar? Can you hear the waves rolling in? Can you hear the bells of freedom ringing in the streets? Will you use your ears to heed them before it is too late? Can you hear the sound of what's to come? Can you see what you've been missing in those caves with only walls? Can you see the light leaking from an exit you never saw? Can you see the light of love? Footsteps coming around the bend. Can you hear the whispers growing that warn of things to come? Will you heed the sound and become one with your love. You're listening to the Fresh Toones Show right here on Rochester Free Radio 106.3 FM. Today's show is a 250th Independent Day celebration here on the Fresh Toones Show. I think one of the most popular songs to bring us together, one of Woody's most recognized songs, and if you were a kid in the 50s or the 60s, you might well have sung this song in grammar school. This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. As I was walking that ribbon of a highway, I saw above me that endless skyway. I saw below me that golden valley. This land was made for you and me. As I was walking I saw a sign there, and on that sign it said no trespassing. But on the other side, it didn't say nothing. That side was made for you and me. I rode and rambled, I followed my footsteps to the sparkling sands of her diamond deserts. And all around me a voice was sounding. This land was made for you and me. In the shadow of the steeple I saw my people. By the relief office I seen my people. As they stood hungry, I stood there asking, is this land made for you and me? When the sun came shining and I was strolling, and the wheat fields waving, and the dust clouds rolling, as the fog was lifting, a voice was chanting, this land was made for you and me. Nobody living can ever stop me as I go walking that freedom highway. Nobody living can ever make me turn around. Oh, this land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters, this land was made for you and me. Well, most of us certainly understand how difficult it was for the United States to come together. And our country probably would have never been able to survive without some assistance. And as most of us know, without the French ships that came to Yorktown and pressured the British, we probably wouldn't know the United States as we know it today. Certainly the French had their own reasons for helping us, but without their assistance, we might well have never come together as one nation. As we look around the world today, we can certainly see that Ukraine is struggling for their independence, and maybe the United States could show them a little bit more support than we have been. This song is called Ukrainian Love Song. Ukrainian love song floats with freedom's breeze, seeks to feed the hunger for people to be free. Ukrainian love song floats with the breeze, the prowess of a quiet people set out to set the record straight. They would fight to save their country and defeat the bullies' hate. Ukrainian love song floats with freedom's breeze, seeks to feed the hunger for people to be free. Ukrainian love song floats with the breeze, with lion hearts not to unravel. They fought with first-rate gallantry. They held their heads up proudly, fought to keep their country free. Ukrainian love song floats with freedom's breeze, seeks to feed the hunger for people to be free. Ukrainian love song floats with the breeze. Some say they showed God's pluck and spunk.
Be not so easily distracted. Well-favored words cannot begin to explain the love displayed there on Ukrainian love song. Ukrainian love song. Ukrainian love song. Floats with the breeze. Floats with the breeze.
Well, as we get near the end of the show today, I wanted to share this song with you called Freedom Isn't Free. And I'm not only referring to the tens of thousands of people who have died fighting for this country, without the efforts of so many that gave their lives to defend democracy and the freedoms that we know here. It certainly doesn't let us off the hook, though. There are other ways to fight for freedom in this country, and there are tens of thousands that have done that to make this country better, more fair, more just. So we all have a responsibility to understand that freedom isn't free, and one of the requirements is that we speak up when we see injustices, and if need be, we go out there and fight for the freedom that we cherish.
Freedom isn't free. Freedom isn't easy. Freedom takes some attention, sometimes requires dissension. There are those who hold the keys and clutch them to their bosom. They would be happy to deprive those struggling for their freedom. Freedom isn't free. Freedom isn't easy. Freedom takes some attention, sometimes requires dissension. Some say it's all been settled in Lincoln's proclamation, but sometimes words alone don't provide for liberation. Freedom isn't free. Freedom isn't easy. Freedom takes some attention, sometimes requires dissension. Within our heart of hearts sits some discord to be sorted. Not easy, by no means. We find peace, and then we've nailed it. Freedom is a tree, and we must protect her. Let our kind us feed her roots, and let our love help to spread her message.
Hey, if you can relate to anything that you hear on Dave's Fresh Tunes, just click on the like button. And if you really want other folks to hear about Fresh Tunes, you might consider subscribing. It's free, and both of these things will increase the chance that more people will hear the Fresh Tunes, and I really appreciate it, so thanks. Well, to wrap up our 250th Independence Day celebration here on the Fresh Tunes Show, I'm going to play this song called Stand Up and Be Your Love.
There's just no way, so they say. Just close your eyes and close your mind. Say that's okay. Well, it's not. It's not okay. It may take some work, it may take some ways to bring about some changes, to gain a little justice, try and make things fair in this world. It's only fair to have equal justice, and to be sure that the children are fed. It's only right to raise our voices. What's killing us are the things left unsaid. Stand up, speak up, rise up and be your love, to bring about some changes, to gain a little justice, to try and make things fair in this world. It's only fair to have equal justice, and to be sure that the children are fed. It's only right to raise our voices. What's killing us are the things left unsaid. Oh, stand up. Oh, speak up. Rise up. Be your love. And be your love.
Well, that's it for the Fresh Tunes Show today. I hope you have a great 250th Independence Day celebration. So long now. Bye.
Independence Day, a day to celebrate, a day to give our thanks for Independence Day.